Introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Rambabu. My name is Amit Ghosh, and I'm currently working as middleware engineer in Infosys. And I've just joined Infosys. Earlier, I have been working with Tech Mahindra as in the same post as middleware admin for VAS and JBoss.
Okay. So, yeah.
And that's all. I'm like 2.9 years experience, like 2 years, 9 months.
Okay. Okay. So you.
And as you
Uh,
know that nowadays DevOps is in boom. So I was just interested in what's DevOps and how can I apply it in inside me and just call that DevOps as my second nature.
yeah. Actually, that is good. Yeah. See, you are realizing very early in career starting, so it can be very helpful to you. So DevOps is most.
Yes, Rambabu. Actually, nowadays IT is something. It's changing very fast, and new technologies are getting in like anything. Nowadays in Infosys also what I'm seeing is people from senior level are like getting laid off. So just to keep myself in the industry and be relevant, I have to evolve with IT, right?
Yeah. So you know the reason? Did you found any reason why they are moving off the resources? I mean, they are appended with a single or multiple technologies. Still, they are moving off. So do you know the reason?
No, I'm not able to get the reason why they are like
Okay.
I
So
found one consultant.
I'll
Okay,
tell you.
I had an experience today itself. I have met a consultant. He was a middleware consultant, and while we were being given the review overview of the project, what he told that he is a MQ messaging queue consultant, and when asked about Unix and Linux, he was blank. So I don't know, people are like focused on one technology, and rest of the world they don't know anything. Like they don't have any idea,
Yeah,
or either they don't want to learn or something. I don't like get what's the reason behind it.
yeah, that is the main reason. They are stick with one technology, so that technology is not going to work out. So because everyone looking for a solution, okay, not for the engineers. So solution in the sense
Yeah, correct.
who can give the entire end-to-end process solution, right? So
Yeah,
so DevOps is going to give the entire the software life cycle. Okay. So actually, we are following a process called SDLC. Suppose I have a nice idea to start a business. So what I'll do, I'll go and contact some software company to develop my project. So now, if you see, we are using a lot of applications in real time. So like your Facebook, like your Amazon or Flipkart or IRCTC or like Make My Trip, Book My Show. So we are using daily,
yeah,
uh, I mean, a lot of applications in daily basis. So we are finding a lot of changes every day. So they are making some changes, right? So every day something is added or something is removed from the application. So how they are doing that much fast? So software development lifecycle, actually the project, I mean every IT resource they'll start their journey with SDLC. So SDLC means software development lifecycle, right? So in
yeah,
software development
yeah.
lifecycle,
Actually, about this, sorry to interrupt, Rambabu. Uh, this software development life cycle was like taught to us in college too.
yeah, that's what every IT company, every IT resource, every IT person start their journey with SDLC only, software development
Yeah,
lifecycle, right? So
yeah,
I'm showing you the image of SDLC, how it is. Okay, so there is
hmm,
different phases, right? So the first one is requirement analysis. So what kind of, I mean, requirement analysis in the sense, so what kind of project you want to develop. So suppose I am the business owner, I mean business user. So what I'll do, I'm the business owner. So I have a nice idea, to start a red bus. So what I'll do, I'll approach one company to develop my project. Okay. So what I'll do is first I'll say my plan. So what is the services I'm going to provide. So according to that, they have to develop my project and get it released, right? So for the purpose, what they are doing, requirement analysis. First phase is requirement analysis, and after that, so that phase once the requirement analysis phase get completed, so they are moving to design. So design in the sense they'll create some templates of your project and they'll show it to you. So how it will be, if it is go live, then how it will be. So they are going to show you for in designing phase, and after that it moves to the next stage called implementation. So implementation in the sense the programmers are going to write a code for your application and they'll develop the code with the logics, what kind of functionality you want, right? So once the coding get completed everything, so then it is going to testing phase. So once the testing also done, so what the testing engine is doing here, so they're writing some test cases and they are doing the testing. It can be a manual or it can be using some tools, right? So after that it comes to evaluation. So in evaluation all the administrator will come into the picture. So network engineers, operating system engineers, and middleware engineers, right, and DBA engineers.
Yeah,
So all these people come into the picture for evaluation and they'll take it up further like go live. So this is the process we are following for SDLC for, I mean, developing the project and releasing the project. So it can be a project or it can be a service. So am I correct?
correct, Rambhav.
So in this process, do you find any gap over here in this process?
Mm, no, that's the what we follow. That's it.
Yeah, we will follow, that's it. But we never think about what kind of issues we are facing with SDLC. So because think about one by one requirement analysis. How many days the engineers will take to require to analysis what kind of requirement. So you said only just I wanted to start a business like online. Online people can able to book tickets from my website like Redbus or any other government website. So you say with your requirement, but how many days that engineers will take time to analyze your requirements? So maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, correct.
So let me write here. Just open a notepad. Requirement analysis, 3 months. Imagine like that. So I'm not saying
Hmm.
it is sufficient time. So just overall, I mean average time, 3 months. Okay. So and after that, once the requirement analysis gathered, so it is going to design phase. So in design phase, designing engineers, how many days, how many months they are going to take to create your project templates? How many months they'll take?
This it might take like it depends on like on an average it would take around 3 4 months.
3 months. We assume as a 3 months.
Yeah,
Okay. And again, once the design
correct.
is completed, it comes to implementation phase. Implementation in the sense coding. So logic. So what kind of logic you are going functionality. So how many engineers we need, how many days they'll take uh, to write the coding, I mean to develop your project. So again, so it will take, right? implementation, so or coding. So and again 6 months average.
Again, 6 months. Yeah. Yeah.
So after that, testing people. So they'll test the code. They'll write some test cases, or they'll do the manual test, or using some tools. Okay, testing tools, and they will test your entire project. So not single module, not thing. So the entire can be tested in the testing phase. So how many months they'll take for testing?
2 months at least.
2 months at least, right? So testing is
Yeah.
not that much easy because we have to test everything. It can be a
Yeah.
code,
Correct.
it can be a functionality, it can be a logic, everything can be tested. Suppose it can get completed in 2 months. Okay, so after that the next phase is evaluation. So how much time we are taking to uh, for go live? So for setting up our infrastructure, or installing our WebSphere or WebLogic or middleware or database, so how much time we are taking for evaluation for go live one project or one service? How many months it will take? So it is not that much
Like,
easy.
it depends what happens after testing, which code fails, which code, like.
Yeah, that's what. So how many months they'll take to go live? So we are not releasing the project. I think you are not releasing the project daily. So you are just deploying applications in test and dev environment.
Yeah.
So production you will not get chance to do
Yeah.
on a daily basis, right? So production in the sense, so if you are
Hmm.
doing in the production daily, that means you are releasing the project daily. If you are doing in non-production, that is not go live. That is not live. So maybe you're doing the production deployments every 6 months. Imagine like that, right? So here, total how many months you are spending to release one project. So and that project is not complete, only some of the pages and some of the services. So requirement analysis 3 months, and design 3 months, total 6 months, and coding 6 months, that is 1 year, and 1 year 2 months,
Yeah.
1 year 8 months. So
8 months.
total 1 year 8 months. Okay, so is that to develop the project and get it go live. Okay, so this much
Yeah.
time you are taking, and that too you are not releasing the entire services. Okay, so once the project is go live, if there any bugs found, if the functionality is not working, so then what happens? Again they have to start from
It
beginning.
goes again for. Yeah.
So again they start, I mean they will stop that application, right? So first they will stop that application and they'll delete it, and they'll start doing from first phase. So is there any mistakes in design or implementation or testing or evaluation? So they will do entire process again, right?
Correct.
So to make it analyze and make it go live again, how many days it will take? Maybe 1 year.
Hmm.
So total 1.8 years. So 2.8 years, but you're not generating any revenue after 2 years, 8 months
Correct.
over. So in this phase, you are wasting a lot of time. Am I correct or not? You are keep on spending the money for your employees.
Correct, Rambabu. Correct.
So am I
Yeah.
right? And this is the gap we found. That is first one. So that means, so SDLC process is taking time because of every team. So suppose I am in my project in requirement analysis phase. So designing people, implementation guys, and testing team and evaluation team sit ideal. They don't have any job. Company is paying the salaries, right? So
Right.
in SDLC process, generally, I mean, normally we will talk about SDLC. So these are all the challenges we are facing. First one, every phase has to wait for before stage to complete their work. Am I correct?
Very right.
right? So every team is waiting for before stage to complete. That means so until unless coding is get completed, testing team and evaluation team sitting ideal, and when design is get completed, implementation team also sitting ideal. That means every phase depends on other phase, so they are sitting ideal. So it is very expensive if you want to pay the salaries, and the client also not getting any revenue of that application because it did not go live, right? So that is the first problem we are facing. Every phase has to wait for before stage to complete their work. And the second point, application development is too slow. That means they have to write the correct code, I mean the correct functionality, so correct logic to your application. And hence if there any fail, so as I told you, once the project is go live, so if there any bug found, if there any failure of that change, so they, again they have to start from beginning, so the cycle become very large. So am I correct?
Yeah. Correct. Correct, Rambo.
So that is second reason, second problem, second challenge we are facing is SDLC. And third, teams is sitting ideal for long time, right? Teams doesn't
Right.
have any work. They are sitting ideal to phase complete to get it done. I mean before
Yeah,
stage.
that efficiency suffers.
Yeah. And the next reason, project or service. It can be a project, the entire project, or a service in that project delivers too late beyond the actual release date. So we are seeing this one. So actually, I wanted to
Hmm.
release my one of the service this weekend. So because of this coding and testing is taking time, so I'm going to release in next month. So business will lose, right? So if it is happens one or two
Right.
times, then it is fine. If it is happens every time, so the client will say, that is not good practice, right? So project or service delivers
Yeah.
too late beyond the actual release date. And the last one, it way too expensive. It is expensive only because we are paying, the company is paying salary, you are paying money to your company, so that is expensive.
Hmm.
Moreover, if failure happens, the project cost become very high. So end of the day, after 2.5 years, so after 2.8 years, okay, 2.8 years, company come back to you and says, sir, project, our budget is 2 lakhs, but because of these changes, because of these challenges, so we wanted to charge more from you. So that means the project cost become very high. We need
Very.
senior people or other technologies. So they'll say some a lot of reasons and they'll put cost on you. So these are all the challenges in SDLC. So now you are able to find a lot of gaps. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
So there is a lot of gaps in SDLC process. And a very big reason is, so every team blame other teams. Suppose if there is, I mean, if the changes fail, then what evaluation team will say? So test cases not written properly, they are not done testing properly. So they will blame on testing team, and they'll come to the implementation guys. They, these people written that the code is not good. There are a lot of bugs in that, so they'll blame on implementation.
Yes, Rambo. That's the story of every project.
Yeah, so that is the big problem. That's why. So that I did not mention in the slide. So that we know very well. So everyone blame on other people in this process, SDLC. Everyone blame on testing people or implementation guys or network guys or DBA guys. So they are not doing job, or we are good from our end. So everyone will say.
Yes.
So there is a lot of gap. So because of this project on service are not able to deliver with the actual date, and it is taking more and more time, and the client will not generating any revenue on that. So So we found a lot of gaps over here. Okay. So then how do you
Yeah.
recover? How do you overcome this problem? And
We can have this prototype model which we studied.
which one?
There is a prototype model for software development, like gather requirement analysis and make a prototype and show it to the client. If he
P-
says like, okay,
POC, proof of concept.
yeah, like that. Yeah,
Yeah, proof of concept also you have to spend money for your servers. You have to spend salary to two, three resources. They have to develop the POC, right? That is also expensive. How much time they'll take? So who will wait for until you finish that POC, right?
then I don't know.
That's what we have to think, right? So that's why we have started DevOps. Okay, so DevOps means we have two teams here, development team and operations team. So you know the meaning of development team. So who are
Yeah.
developing the code, who are compiling the code, and who is testing the code. So these are all the teams comes under development, and operations means who is deploying the application, who is maintaining the infrastructure and operations and monitor. So all these things
Hmm.
comes under operations. So DevOps life cycle become like this. So two teams are there, development team in development. So we will start from the plan. Okay. So once the plan get completed, so we are not waiting for to complete plan. So whatever the plan is there today, so they are going to develop that, and today itself they are going to build, so they are going to test today, they are going to release. Okay, so then how do you maintain this circle, this eight? Okay, plan, code, build, test, and release, and deploy, and operate, and monitor. Okay, so how we have designed this? Okay, so I will show you how we can make it one place. Okay, DevOps. Okay, so here dev means development, ops means operations. So here two teams are involved, so not one team. Okay, so DevOps and
Mhm.
here development team and operations team sitting together, and development team has to understand the operation activities, so they have to understand what is operating system, what is middleware, what is DB, what how much critical it is. So they have to understand the operations and functionalities of operation, and operation team has to understand development, how they are writing the code, so how much critical it is, and how to build and how to test the code. So here mutual understand. Development team has to do operation activities. Operations team has to do development activities. So they are sitting together and they are working and they are releasing the project in time. So there is no gap over here. So I'll show you why there is no gap. And here understand that. So there is two teams sitting together, development team and operations teams sitting together, and they're releasing the project. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, and two coins, dev coin and ops coin. So dev coin saying I want change, that means developers keep on changing the code. Every day they'll write some changes and they'll add some features, right?
Correct.
So in development team, we can see testers, testing engineers, and QA, quality assurance, and programmers. And we can see delivery bug fixes and changes and new features. So all these things comes under development phase. And the right hand side we can say I want stability. Stability means, so I don't want to interrupt any service, whoever accessing this application, right?
Yeah.
Stability in the sense So website, I mean, the application should come properly without any interrupts. So in this operation, system administrators will come into the picture, network engineers, DBAs, and a reliable stable software. So these two are two different coins. Okay, so because of these two kinds, we are getting a lot of interrupts in SDLC. So we can avoid such kind of gaps using DevOps process. Okay, so let me tell you how we can recover this process, how we can resolve. Okay, see here, three developers are developing the code in first image. So once they develop the code, they are moving their code into a tool called Git. So
Yeah, GitHub. Yeah,
what the Git is doing. For example, I am the developer, you also developer, or one of the our teammate also developer. So we are making the changes regularly. So I did something today, I have done something tomorrow, I have done something day after tomorrow. I did for 30 days. So once the 30 days get completed, if I wanted to think what I have done in the first day, where I have done the changes, so on which changes we have done. So because why I'm asking these questions, so nowadays applications are getting updated daily basis, not 6 months, not 1 year. If you observe
yeah, correct.
Facebook application, if you can see at least one update every day. And if you see
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, Flipkart. So they are keep on adding the services, they are changing the prices, and they are releasing the big billion days. How they are doing daily? So if they follow SDLC, is it possible?
No, it would highly be not possible.
Yeah. So they wanted to start big billion day for Dasara. They'll do it in Diwali if they
Yeah,
follow SDLC. Right? So what they are doing is developers keep on updating the changes, keep on updating the application. So whenever they are updating the changes, they have to document it, and they have to create the versions. Am I correct or not? So until unless they
yeah,
cannot remember what they have done, when they have done, okay, on which code, on which line they have updated, so they cannot remember manually. So then they'll create a lot of versions, version 2, version 1, and they'll create folders like project 1, project May, project updated, right?
yeah. Version 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, etc.
So that is a problem. So here developers are keep on developing the application, and they are storing a lot of versions, and it get your hard disk will fill. There is no use of that. And finally they are developing the code for 6 months. So they wanted to look into the entire code what they have done. So that is not that much easy, and they have to document
Mm,
everything what they have done. So because they wanted to revert back the change, and they have to check entire code, that is difficult, right?
correct.
So that's why what they are doing, they are using a tool called Git. Okay, so what the Git is doing
Yeah,
here, so developers are developing the code, okay, and they are pushing that code into Git. So the Git is one automation tool. What it is doing, so once it identify the code, it is automatically creating the versions with the name. Okay, so name series and time, so when you have changed and what you have changed, how many times you have changed, and who has changed. Because here three developers are there, so these three developers cannot fight. So you did mistake, you did not do mistake, something like that. So it can be a so we can observe who has done that, and so it can be documented. So you need not to create SOPs, standard procedure, right? So the Git tool will create the versions behalf of you, and it will document each and everything what you have done, what are the changes you have done. So after that, the Git tool push that code for testing purpose using Jenkins tool. Jenkins is a configuration integration, I mean continuous integration tool. Okay. If you observe here,
Okay.
so here what we are doing, here what are the code.
Version
Suppose, for example, best example I'm saying, so I just came to the office by 10 o'clock. So I have done some changes. Not only me, my colleagues, you and the other person also did some changes. So what I'll do, I am going for lunch. So what I'll do, I'll post this, what are the changes I have done in the Git tool. Okay, you are not in front of the mission, but the Git tool create versions for you, and it will document so for each and every information. So and after that, the code can be moved to testing phase using
mm,
Jenkins. Okay, here there is no gap. Immediately, the tool can be within the 2 3 minutes they can create the versions and they can document. Okay, so after that immediately it is going to integration. Okay, continuous integration, that means Jenkins tool. So what this Jenkins tool is doing, so this Jenkins tool look up this Git. So if there any changes found, immediately take it and move forward to testing phase. Okay,
okay.
so here what we have to do, as a DevOps engineer, you have to install Git and you have to install Jenkins and you have to write the script for automation. So the script will do the job. You are not doing the job. So whatever the developers uploaded that code, the code can be documented here and it can be moved to testing phase for Jenkins via Jenkins. So because of you have already written the script, so you are writing one day, that script is doing job every day, right? So it is
Right.
going for testing phase. So once the project once the changes come into the testing phase, so there here continuous testing. Okay, so here we can use Selenium is the most popular tool. So they'll do the test, I mean automation testing tool. So we will write some scripting for test cases for this. So testing tool will do the test. Okay, if there are any bugs found, immediately it will trigger an email to the developers. So you went for lunch, right? You came back and see your
Mm,
inbox, there is multiple emails, there is bugs. Then immediately you will rectify that, again you will post into GitHub, and again Jenkins tool pick up and it will move to the testing purpose. So there is no gap here, continuously the tools are picking up your code and moving to the next phase and testing immediately. Okay,
okay.
so once the testing is done, it is going for continuous deployment. Continuous deployment means, so there is no gap. So what are the changes you have done, that is going to be deployed in your environments. It can be a test, it can be a production, it can be a DR or QAT. So generally what we do, we will test in lower environment first. What are the changes you have done? And there is a lot of process. Suppose I wanted to give live one service, first I have to test the service in a test environment and a QA and a dev. After that I will move to the production by creating one change request, getting the approval, and we have downtime window and we need approvals. So these kind of process
Correct.
we are following. So here there is no such
Mm.
kind of process. You can do parallelly in test and dev and production, because here you are not moving entire project, you are moving a bit of code every day, every time.
So, so Rambabu, a bit of code can also hamper a production environment. How can we like deploy anything like continuously over deployment?
Yes, yes, so I'll come to that point. So today I have done this, today I have developed 2 pages. So what I'll do, I'll move it to the testing phase. Testing phase is successful, then I will move to the further deployment purpose. So that 2 pages are working in live, so I need not to look into that 2 pages again tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So I can start developing other pages, other services. But in SDLC, we are waiting for until unless the code get completed. Okay. So if the change is fail, immediately we can revert back within the minutes. So here, what is the purpose of continuous deployment? Here, continuous, I mean configuration management. Suppose I wanted to deploy my application in Apache, so I have 10 missions, 10 Linux missions. So I wanted to install Apache in my 10 missions, or WebSphere or WebLogic JBoss or IAS in 10 missions. Okay, so how much time I require, how many engineers I require to set up complete without any issues, how much time I need, how many days.
No, it would take approvals and then federation of servers, and we
So
could
the complete
like
environment, how much time you will take for 10 Linux missions. 10 is very less,
uh, at least
very less.
15 or 20 days,
Yeah, 15 or 20 days. Suppose you have 100 missions, 1 year.
1 year at least.
So you have to wait for until unless the infrastructure get completed. So here we are not waiting. We are going to use some tools. Puppet is the tool. Puppet, Chef, Ansible. So using these tools, we are going to install the softwares in multiple missions at a time by writing one script. Okay. So
We can Rambabu, we can write a script anyways, but we can do that the same thing in Kickstart also. Like suppose we after we get a number of Linux machines from the company, we got that particular set of hardware. Now we can have all the necessary packages in a Kickstart document, and we can set a DHCP server, and we can always do the same thing in all of the machines simultaneously. Why do we need Puppet?
yeah, I will come to that point. How many lines you are going to write for that script, and what kind of functionality you are using, which language?
No language. Actually, there is a concept called Kickstart in Linux machines. So,
Yes.
whenever
I
if
mean,
we want to suppose we have 10 Linux machines, and we have to install a particular patch on them, or suppose we need to install a particular software on them,
mm-hmm.
and then we can always put those lines of code and copy that particular there is a page, there is a particular text file which we can always edit, and we can add that line, and we can have those server connected to that particular server, and then as we switch on the machines, that particular page will always go on to every machine, and then install that particular, like if we have Apache, we can always install HTTPD.
Yeah, that's what I'm also telling you. How much lines of code you are going to write in that, and what is the functionality? What I mean, Puppet we can use a normal language. This is not like Java. This is not like Shell script, or it is not like a Ruby, Python. So it is very simple, very language. So just a 3 or 4 lines code. So you are going to mention host names and that. So that Puppet tool is going to download software, and it is going to be installed in hundreds and thousands of machines in 5 minutes. So your tool is going to do that thing? Not possible.
Yes, actually, it depends actually on the width or bandwidth of the network we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm
If
saying.
we have 100 machines,
And you have to
if
configure.
suppose we have 100,
I mean, that the
okay,
machine should be communicate with each other with SSH, open SSH.
yeah,
So that we have to configure, right, for each and every server. So that will take time, right? So here
okay,
using Puppet and Chef and Ansible, you are going to do the automation. Okay, you are going to write a script 3 or 4 lines. You are going to mention the host names over there, and you are going to download and install the software. And you can revert back the if it is failed, you can revert back very easily. Whether it's production or non-production or whatever environment. Okay, so that is called
okay.
configuration management. Okay, and containerization. So instead of using virtual machines, you can use containers. Okay, so container in the sense, if you use virtual machine need a standard RAM size and a hard disk capacity and CPUs. But the containerizations never take that. So you are going to waste your RAM and hard disk and processors because of virtual machines. Okay, suppose I am running with three virtual machines like 4 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM, and for each virtual machine is going to use only 2 GB RAM. Another 2 GB RAM we are wasting, and hard disk and CPU processor also. So instead of using virtual machines, if you go for containers, container in the sense you are going to use only one machine, you are going to create containers, okay, and in that containers you are going to deploy your application. So using Docker you can do that, and if you don't want that container you can remove. But virtual machines you cannot remove that much easy. Am I correct or not?
I've no idea about containers, Rambabu. So,
Container in the sense it is like a area where we can keep our files, or we can do work. It is kind of environment. So I'll come to know that Docker is the tool for containerization. So once we
is it like EC2 instance in like AWS?
no, EC2 instance in the sense that is just Linux mission. So in that Linux mission you are going to create containers. Container means web container, EJB container in the web sphere.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
same kind of thing. So the same kind of thing, you are going to create container using Docker to install your softwares. And suppose as I told you, virtual machines will take their own RAM and hard disk and processor capacity. So instead of that, one mission, you are not going to waste any RAM and not going to waste any hard disk, right? So for that purpose, we can scale up and scale down your hardware configuration. So by using this Docker. So after that,
Okay.
continuous testing. So continuous testing using Nagios or Splunk or TMAT, we have a lot of testing monitoring tools. We can configure that. So in this process, I'm not. Do you find any gap? So you are going to release what you have developed in the end of the day, right?
Because, uh, this is like modularizing a whole of the requirement, right?
Yeah. See, whatever the suppose
So,
I have developed two pages.
PLC2,
I have developed two pages
so,
today. First, listen.
mhm,
So I have developed two pages today. So using Git, I'm going to make it versions and documentation. Immediately it is going for testing. After that it is going for deployment. It is going for it is going to deploy on multiple environments like production and non-production, whatever, and it is going for continuous monitoring also. Here we are not doing anything manually. Tools are doing the job. You are writing the script for that. The script is going to do the job every day. So that means you can release the project every day, right? So am I correct or not?
yeah.
So you are going to release the services every day. Okay, there is no
Mhm.
cap because you're releasing the services and project with a small chunk of code. So you're not waiting for other teams to complete their phase. So you're doing the same day testing. You're not doing, tools is doing. Tools are automation tools. You're writing the script is doing job. So there continuous integration, continuous test, continuous deployment, continuous monitor. So so continuously the process will do, and you are going to release the project to daily basis. That's why we are able to see these kind of applications every day. You are seeing a lot of changes. So if you follow SDLC, that is not possible, and that is manual. This is automation. Okay.
Okay.
And what is the definition of DevOps? So it is a practice or process. So it is not like a software. It is like a SDLC only, but we are using automation tools. So we are going to release a bit of code every day, bit of services every day. So every day we are developing, every day we are testing, every day we are monitoring, we are deploying, we are releasing. So if you wanted to revert back the entire project, very big headache. So if you wanted to revert back a small service, that is very easy. And it is a process or practice to develop, build, test, configure, and release and monitor of software services. That is the definition of DevOps. So it is a practice or process to develop, build, test, configure, and release and monitor software services. And the second point, it is software development method that stress communication and collaboration and integration between software developers and IT professionals. So there is a lot of gaps from developers and infrastructure guys. So we are going to close that here using these automation tools, because so these tools are very small tools. Okay, so you can work with multiple tools at a time, so you need not to go for each and every technology, right? And the third point, development and operations team sitting together and work on client requirements and the company for fastest releases. So because there is no gap, there is automation tools, we are doing that. So every day we are releasing the project. Okay, so you can start business in the after 10 or 15 days. Okay, so but if you follow
Yeah.
SDLC, you're waiting for 3 years or to 4 years, but there is no revenue. There is a lot of failures available, and the coding team checking the entire code every time if there any bug found. So here we are not releasing the project at a time. We are releasing bit of code every day so that there is less failure. So if there any failure, immediately we can revert back that. And the last but one, it is continuous process. There is no gap using various automation tools. So tools is doing job. You cannot feel any burden here. So because there is a Git tool, as I told you, for version control, they are going to make
Mm.
versions and documentation. And there is an integration tool called Jenkins. You are not going to push and pull. So the tool is doing behalf of you. And continuous testing, Selenium tool is doing. You are not going to do any kind of manual testing, or you are going to write anything. So tool is doing job. And continuously deploying, you are not going to deploy your infrastructure manually. So the tools are doing job. If you sit in front of mission or not, that is secondary. So the tools will do the job with automation. And it is a replacement of SDLC. So process to develop and release the project on time. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the definition. If anyone asks you what is DevOps, DevOps is, it is two teams sitting together, development operations teams sitting together. They are going to work on automation tools. So those automation tools, some tools for development, some tools for developing, some tools for testing, some tools for integration, some tools for deployment, and some tools for monitoring, right? So these, whoever working on these tools, that person we can call it as DevOps engineer. He is going to develop, he is going to test, he is going to configure and release and monitor IT services. So am I clear about it?
Yeah, Ram. Yeah.
And advantages, faster deployment. So as soon as any developer commits his and her code, this can be managed and existing code based. So that is going to be, you are going to deploy, develop and release that project so immediately. And is scalable, you can manage the configuration to deployment thousands of missions automatically without any hips. And if you feel any, I mean, if there any failure happens, then you can revert back in the same way. And a reliable, in case of failure, it can easy to roll back the previous stable version. Okay. And efficiency, faster time to market. You can market your services in the next day or next 2 days, after 2 days. So you need not to wait for 6 months or 1 year. And predictability, lower failure, because we are not releasing complete project. You are daily, whatever the code you are developing, you are going to release in the next day. So there is less code, less failure. If there any failure, you can revert back, I mean, you can rectify that immediately, or you can revert back the changes. So productivity, in the sense, lower failure of new releases. And
Mm.
productability was version everything, so it is going to be create versions behalf of you, and it can be documented. It's very easy. And maintainability, so you can maintain this environment very easy. So these are all the advantages of DevOps. That's why people are looking for DevOps engineer, because he is going to develop, he is going to test, he is going to monitor, he is going to deploy using various automation tools. So you don't need separate teams. You don't need specific engineers like a development team, testing team, building team, or middleware team, or database team. You don't require. So everything can be done by the DevOps engineer. So using various automation tools. So am I clear? Any doubts?
Yes.
So I'll show you what kind of responsibilities DevOps engineer has to feel. So these are all the responsibilities. Who is DevOps engineer? To whom we will call? So first thing is he has to know the entire DevOps life cycle, 8. So plan, code, right? And build, test, release, deploy, operate, I mean, operations, and monitor. He has to know the entire life cycle of project. So it is
Mm.
not like development, it is not like testing. Everything he has to know. So using, I mean, he is going to use automation tools, right? So it is very easy to manage. And the automation architect, he should know what is the automation functionality, how to write scripts, and these DevOps tools uses various scripts, okay, like Python or Ruby, okay. So they are going to use that. And this person has to be a QA professional, quality assurance. That means he need to know how to write test courses, and QA professional. And a software developer, he has to develop the code. And a security engineer, so he should provide the security for application. And he is the release manager. So no, I mean, currently we are seeing release managers. One manager will be
Yeah.
available for project day, he is going to release. But here DevOps engineer is the release manager. He, because he is releasing the project every day. And a utility technology player, he has to know the utility of every tool. Okay, so who knows
Mm.
everything? So that person we will call it as DevOps engineer. Lot of responsibilities. So
Yeah.
instead of recruiting more people like testing engineers or developers or builders or middleware or DBA or network, instead of recruiting all these people, recruit one DevOps guy. He is going to work on these tools. He is going to release project every day. So that's why our jobs is going to way off. Now you understand, right?
Yes.
Why we
Yeah.
are losing, the engineers are losing the job. Because everyone looking for a solution, project owner or company also. So if the project owner follow
Mm.
SDLC, he is not going to generate any revenue after 2 3 years also. If he follows DevOps process, he can get release his project within 30 days, so he can get revenue after 31 days. So daily he can get revenue because he is going to keep on adding the services using DevOps engineer. He is going to do that, right? So which one is best,
Yeah.
SDLC or DevOps?
First DevOps is good.
So the DevOps engineer is going to use automation tools to get release project every day. Okay, we don't need
Mhm.
separate teams, lot of engineers over here. And roles of DevOps engineer, what kind of roles he has to perform? So there are 5 roles. One is maintain code. He has to maintain the code using version control tool called Git. So the job of engineer is, he is the person to install Git software and he is going to work on that tool. So the tool is going to automation your job. And the same way, make software builds and a test and a continuous integration. So he should know how to build. Okay, build means execution, compilation, using automation tools only. You are not going to do manual. You are going to push the code, the tool is going to build, and a test and a continuous integration. And he wanted to be a apply configuration management. And if you know AWS or other cloud services, manage cloud servers. So he has to know how to manage the cloud services. That means you have to learn AWS or Microsoft Azure. And adopt automation for continuous delivery. So just adopt for automation and do the continuous delivery of services. So these are all the roles the DevOps engineer is going to be performed. So you are clear about it?
Yes.
Okay. So skills, what are the skills you require to become a DevOps engineer? First skill is source code management. Nothing but using version control, GitHub documentation. And you have to know
Mhm.
make and build and test. You have to know how to write the code and execute the code and test the code using automation tools. Remember that we are using automation tools, not manual. And configuration management using Puppet, Ansible, and Chef. You are going to install softwares, third party. It can be a middleware, it can be a DB, and multiple machines at a time, and you are going to revert back if any changes fail. And a cloud management, you should know the cloud environment, what is cloud, what how to manage cloud services, and automation you have to know. Okay. So here for source code management, we
Okay.
are going to use GitHub. And first make, build and test, we are going to use another tools like Maven. Okay, I'll show you what are the tools we are going to use. And configuration management, we are going to use some tools. And a cloud environment, nothing but AWS or Azure. And automation, you are going to learn like Python, Ruby kind of thing, and more skills. So apart from these skills, you have to know operational skills, communication skills, and analytical skills. More responsibilities. And tools using DevOps. Just observe this picture. What are the tools and what purpose? You can understand very easy.
Yes.
Git, Jira, and Eclipse for code management and documentation and version control. And Maven and Gradle for executing, compiling your code. And testing purpose, Selenium and JUnit. And integration purpose, Jenkins and Bamboo. And deployment purpose, Puppet, Chef, Ansible, SaltStack. And monitoring purpose, Nagios, Splunk, Senshu, and New Relic. So these are all the tools we are going to use. Okay, these all tools are most popular in DevOps. We have other tools
Okay.
also. We have 50 plus tools for DevOps, but we are not going to use all these things. These are all the most and popular tools. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have any question,
So, Ramavu, we will be studying tools.
we are going to learn. We are not going to learn all. Out of from these, there are a lot of tools here. Let me count one. So we are going to learn Git and Jira from code. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And from build, we are going to learn Maven and Gradle. And test, we are
Mm-hmm.
going to learn both Selenium and JUnit. And we are going to learn Jenkins and Puppet, Chef, Ansible, and Nagios and Splunk. Total 10 or 12 tools we are going to work.
Okay.
So if you know these 12 tools, every day you will get more lot of calls. You will be in good position,
So,
good package. Okay.
so after having this particular course, I will be like good with all of these tools if I practice, right?
Yes, yes. So these are all tools are very simple language, simple English language script you are going to write. Automation tools, very small
Okay.
software.
So,
It is not
so one more question, Rambabu. Would I be requiring actually what I know is I know shell scripting, but I don't have much idea about Python. Although I'm trying to learn it, I'm in process to like I'm daily studying for some time and practicing it as well. So will it be helpful for this, or like it's good always to have some few arrows in your basket?
actually these tools will use script, but it is not like shell. It is very simple English language, as I told you. So it is not like
Okay.
Python or shell. It is very simple English language. That's why these tools are more popular. I'll show you once we started working on these tools. You can come to know how much it is easy.
Okay.
Okay. So you're clear about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So and everyone
Yeah. Sure.
everyone looking for a solution. Everyone looking for solution, not for engineers. Suppose I am the project owner, I wanted to be a solution. So as a DevOps engineer, can I give solution to him? Can I release?
If I'm a project owner.
No, you are DevOps engineer. You are going to release the project,
Mhm.
right? So daily you are
Yeah.
releasing something. So you can give solution
Hmm.
to your client.
Yeah. Definitely, I can give.
Yeah, that's what. So companies and